Warriors dynasty over?
I have a two-part answer to that.
Okay.
Yes, it is. But they don't believe so.
I don't think Steph is on the level of a LeBron James, of a Kevin Durant, of a Kawhi Leonard. I think he is one hell of a player. That's not to diminish anything he's been able to accomplish. I don't think his skill set is enough to carry a team.
Those days are over for the Warriors.
I've heard so many narratives surrounding Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors recently. So many people have been saying that the Warriors are set up for failure even after the first game of the season. They didn't even face off against some bad team. They went up against the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant looked like his old self and Kyrie was looking unstoppable, and they had a great supporting cast around them. It wasn't even just the first game where people were making these bold statements about the Warriors. I think people are blowing this way out of proportion, and I think the Warriors as of right now are very underrated. I know, it's crazy to say, the Warriors are underrated. Welcome to Strictly NBA. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button to get quality NBA content 3 to 5 times a month, and best of all, to join this amazing basketball family. I hope you guys all had a great new year and holiday season. As we start up 2021, I hope you guys will all have a great and safe year, and I'll be pushing hard to make great content for you guys. This is going to be a longer video, but just stick with me through it until the end, because I don't know how you can leave watching this video and still think Curry can't lead a team or carry a team. Anyways, let's get back on with the video. The funny thing is that the other night Steph Curry dropped a career high of 62 points and is looking really smooth, except yet I'm still hearing these narratives. Think about it. A lot of these Warriors players are trying to fit into the system that they have been running for years, 7 years, and there isn't a training camp to figure that out. Chemistry will get way better throughout the season, and another bad thing about this team is that they aren't hitting their shots. Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre will definitely bounce back and be at least close to their old selves, as they have only had a rough few games to start the season. There is an issue with playmaking, and Draymond Green is back to be that secondary ball handler behind Stephen Curry to help fix the issue. The Warriors haven't even played that bad though. They have been at a start around 500, while other teams like the Nuggets, Mavericks, Heat, and the Raptors are doing way worse. How come these teams don't get nearly the same amount of hate, but a newly constructed team with little to no chemistry gets way more criticized? I think this is either a double standard or that just goes to show how high the expectations are set for Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. The main thing I want to talk about today is surrounding the narratives around Stephen Curry. Recently, I've heard so many different narratives or stories around him that I've just never heard before from the first handful of games. I do want to talk about the loudest narrative that so many people have been saying around the NBA community. Stephen Curry can't carry a team. People talk about how he isn't like a James Harden or Russell Westbrook, but the question I have for those that say that is this: why would you want James Harden or Russell Westbrook to lead your team? I think we can agree that the goal for every NBA franchise is to win a championship, right? So having James Harden or Russell Westbrook leading the way won't amount to anything. They're great players and they make the playoffs, but they just don't win championships. They need specific teams and players around them to fit their unique play styles. But even when they were paired with the correct players, they still can't seem to get it done. Daryl Morey has done wonders for James Harden, pairing him up with Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, and now John Wall. I made a whole video about Daryl Morey. Click the video on the screen now to watch that. But the same thing happened to Russell Westbrook. He was paired up with James Harden twice, Kevin Durant, Victor Oladipo, Paul George, and now Bradley Beal. These two players have had great rosters almost every single year, but have never seemed to got it done. If you put Stephen Curry on any team in the league, he's going to make the whole team better. He will play amazing, he'll make others around him better, and his gravity as a player will help his teammates, and his playmaking will find others. He has proven he can win a championship without some super team while being the best player on the planet. We have also seen him raise the ceiling for one of the best teams in the history of the league. People remember teams that win championships, not teams that just make the playoffs. So I would rather have a team like the Pelicans that could miss the playoffs but have a really bright future than a team that makes the playoffs and goes nowhere. But do you know who I would rather have than all of that? A leader that can will a team to a championship like Stephen Curry. I have heard some more sensible people say that Steph Curry is not like a Russell Westbrook because he can't carry a team, but Russell Westbrook isn't a Steph Curry because he can't win. But who says he can't carry a team? Who says Curry can't will a team to the playoffs? I think something we can look at is his play in the past, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Curry carry a team before? Let's go back in time to when Steph Curry was drafted with the 7th overall pick in the 2009 draft, and the Warriors just finished as a 10th seed in the West.
With the 7th pick in the 2009 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select Stephen Curry from Davidson College.
In 2010, the Warriors lost Jamal Crawford and Marco Bellinelli and didn't have a great season. 2011 and 2012 were very similar years, and the Warriors were led by Monte Ellis and an injury-prone Steph Curry. A lot of people forget that, at the beginning of Stephen Curry's career, he had ankle injuries that seemed to happen every single year, and he was just not a reliable player. But they did acquire Klay Thompson in the 2011 draft, and Draymond Green in the 2012 draft. So 2013 is where Curry was finally healthy and played amazing. He led the team as a 24-year-old with David Lee, Andrew Bogut, a 21-year-old Harrison Barnes, a sophomore Klay Thompson, and a rookie Draymond Green. This looks like an amazing roster on paper, but it really wasn't. Klay Thompson was averaging 17 points and Draymond was averaging 3. Their defense wasn't nearly as good as we know they could be, and they were super young. They exceeded many expectations to even make the 6th seed in the tough Western Conference. So this is their first playoff appearance. They are matched up with a 57-win Denver Nuggets team in the tough Western Conference, which is not an easy team to face, being the 6th seed. The Nuggets also had Andre Iguodala on that team as well. And in this series, a 24-year-old Steph Curry led the Golden State Warriors to the upset victory in 6 games. That's right, it didn't go to 7 games, it went to 6 in the upset win. During this series, he put up 24 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, and more than 2 steals a game on great efficiency. I would assume this is a big moment in Steph Curry's career, right? He firstly led his team to the playoffs and won in 6 games to a 57-win team in the upset victory, and he was the best player on his team by far. Now let's talk about the 2014 season. This was a great season for Curry, as he led his team to a 6th seed in the Western Conference again, and faced against the Lob City Clippers in the first round, who won 57 games. Although they didn't win the series, they were clearly the underdogs, and they still overachieved. They did push this really good team, led by Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin and the crew, to 7 games. That was really impressive, and in this series, Curry put up 23 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, getting 2 steals on pretty good efficiency. Pushing this team to 7 games is already an impressive feat, but in the winner-go-home game, which was in LA, Steph Curry put up 33 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals. He also scored 14 of his points in the 4th quarter alone. Meanwhile, Andre, I would rather have him take the last shot over Steph Curry, Iguodala.
I want Iguodala.
Went scoreless in the last 4 minutes of Game 7. And up to this point, he hasn't even played with an All-Star yet. Oh wait, technically David Lee was an All-Star, but he put up 18 points a game and wasn't making a huge difference. But besides him, it was just Steph Curry leading the way and making his team what they were. Now let's fast forward to 2015. Steph Curry leads his team to 67 wins in the Western Conference and captured his first ever MVP. He dominated in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, but now he's in the Western Conference Finals. The NMPA had their own MVP voting that year, and the players had James Harden winning the MVP award, which just goes to show who the Warriors were going up against in the Western Conference Finals. So, this was a big moment in Steph Curry's career, right? This is his first ever Conference Finals appearance, and he will either lead his team to a victory or fall to the Houston Rockets. Without him, they wouldn't even have been in this situation. So what did Steph Curry do? What did the guy that can't lead or carry a team do? Let me tell you. 31 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals on 52% shooting from the field and 49% from 3. He did all this while dismissing the Rockets in 5 games. And he moved on to the finals, and in these finals, he was matched up against an injured Cleveland Cavalier team, but they were still up against a prime LeBron James. The Warriors were the favorites to win the championship, but it wasn't going to be a cakewalk, and Steph Curry and the squad got the job done. People use injuries as an excuse as to why the Warriors won, but that happens almost every single year. Draymond was injured in 2016 when they lost to the fully healthy Cavaliers, and even in the most recent finals, Bam Adebayo was injured for most of the series. But what more could you ask from Curry? He won in 6 games and played really well in the finals, and he put up 26 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds a game on respectable shooting. He played better than he did in the regular season, so what else could you ask from him? I know he did have good pieces around him, but he's still leading the team. Without him, and I can't stress this enough, the team wouldn't nearly be as good as they were. Now on to the 2016 season. Steph Curry led his team to 73 wins, an NBA regular season record. Curry won the first unanimous MVP in the history of the league, having one of the best individual and team seasons in the history of the NBA. In the playoffs, Steph Curry and the crew dominated the first 2 rounds, and now they find themselves facing off against OKC. And I'm going to be honest, Steph Curry did play poorly in the first 4 games, aside from having, I think it was 1 good game. Because he played poorly, the team played poorly, and went down 3-1 in this series. Is this not carrying your team? I mean, the team around him was good, like they weren't scrubs, but he led them to the best record in the regular season ever, and how he plays affects how the team performs. Anyways, in the last 3 games where the Warriors came back from the 3-1 deficit, Curry was amazing. He put up 33 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 steals on 47-47, 91 shooting splits. If that's not stepping up to carry or lead a team, I don't know what is. His play was the determining factor of winning this series. And I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. In the 2016 NBA Finals, Steph Curry did not play well. This is the biggest blemish of his career. The Warriors were awesome and went up 3-1 in the series, but blew the lead. After a historic regular season and great playoff run leading up to this, he played great, but in the finals, he did underperform and couldn't get the job done. But let me ask you this. How many good performances do you need to offset those blemishes? When you look at LeBron's career, he had some really big blemishes. The 2011 loss against the Mavericks was the biggest one, and I think that's worse than Curry's underperformance in 2016. He also had 2010 versus Celtics and some bad games here and there. But when you look at his career as a whole, he's one of the greatest playoff performers and leaders of all time, because the amount of times he has come through and stepped up to the plate offsets those blemishes. Steph Curry has those blemishes too, but the amount of times he has stepped up outweighs those terrible performances by far, or at least to me. From 2017 to 2019, he raised the ceiling for one of the most dominant teams in NBA history, and definitely didn't need to carry or lead the team. But Steph Curry still showed up when the team needed him the most. Just look at the 2018 Western Conference Finals. The Warriors were down 3-2 to the 67-win Houston Rockets and the reigning MVP. In Game 6, Curry put up 29 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks, and shot 52% from the field. And in Game 7, Chris Paul wasn't there, but Steph Curry and KD dominated the second half and beat the Rockets. And in his most recent playoff run, the 2019 playoffs, they faced off against the Houston Rockets again. And in Game 6, the Warriors were trying to close out the series and Kevin Durant got injured. And Steph Curry had to step up to the plate. After scoring 0 points in the first half, he showed up in the second half hitting the dagger, putting up 33 points on 60% from the field, a perfect 11 for 11 from the free throw line, with 23 of those points coming from the fourth quarter alone. Yes, Stephen Curry had blemishes. Yes, 2016 happened. Yes, 2018 Game 3 happened. But this idea of Stephen Curry can't lead a team and chokes in the playoffs is just beyond me. I went over every single year of his career, and the amount of times he has stepped up compared to when he choked outweighs it by far. I just can't wrap my head around this ideology, and so many people are saying this. And they're saying similar things this year. Steph Curry can't carry a team. Steph Curry won't make the playoffs. I'm not buying it. And if all that didn't convince you otherwise, I have pure statistics. I use this in a different video. You can watch that on the card popping up now. But just to put things into perspective, these are the numbers. A fully healthy 2019 Warriors team with Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green has a box plus minus of plus 16.9 per 100 possessions. Now if you take Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson out of the equation, which is what their team's going to look like this year, the Warriors are still an amazing team with a box plus minus of 13.9. For reference, only 3 teams in the past decade have even crossed the double-digit zone. These teams are the 2016 Warriors, who won 73 games, the 2016 Spurs, who won 67 games, and the 2015 Warriors that won 67 games. No other team in the past decade has even passed double digits, including every single LeBron-led team. The Warriors roster this year is way more talented than the super team without KD and Klay Thompson. Now you have Kelly Oubre and Andrew Wiggins, which will smoothen things out as the season goes on. They're not going to be this bad. They're going to be close to what they were last year, at the least. And James Wiseman and other role players, while still having Draymond Green and Stephen Curry. I'm not saying this paints the full picture, but there's always some truth to it. I'm not saying the 2020 Warriors will be better than all LeBron-led teams, but I do think they will surprise many people by making the playoffs and not being some easy first-round exit either. Although the Warriors had a rough start to the season, I think they'll bounce back. Kelly Oubre and Andrew Wiggins and the whole team will improve their chemistry. Another flaw is playmaking, and the only one they have for that is Stephen Curry. Now, Steph Curry is a good playmaker, but he specializes in shooting and scoring, and that isn't his role. So Draymond was absent in the first few games and is returning as another playmaker to help with this issue. The only way is up for this Warriors team, and they haven't even been that terrible. Like I stated at the beginning of the video, there are teams way worse than them that aren't getting nearly the same amount of criticism as they have. And I also think Steph Curry can be a dark horse MVP candidate if he leads his team to a top record in the West, but I'm not sure how likely that is. Anyways, all I'm trying to say is that stop sleeping on the 2021 Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry is capable of leading a team and carrying a team and being that guy. The Warriors do need to figure things out, as they are far from being a perfect team, but I'm confident they will. I think the Warriors will figure things out and ball out this season. I think they'll have a respectable record, being anywhere between a 4 to 7 seed in the West and being a tough team to beat in the playoffs. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe for future basketball content. This is Strictly NBA, and thank you for watching.